Ranks, welcome back. So we just finished episode 3 of The Prisoner of Beauty, and do I even need to ask, Bessie, what do you think?
We need more! I need to watch the next episode now! I was like, we got to the end, and I'm like, wait, that's where we're stopping? I need to know what's going to happen. I need to see the...
Yes. Yeah, that's why I'm like, when I have posted in the community post tab that the first few episodes will hook you, it's no joke, because a lot of them do go off on cliffhangers, especially the initial first 3. So yeah, what did you think of it overall?
This episode is amazing, and I was not ready for the turns that this is gonna take. Woo! Oh my gosh, this is good. Mm-hmm. This is good. I think this is my favorite episode so far.
Yes. So, I guess, starting off the episode, I guess we're going to pick up where we had left off, where, she had just handed him the key to Pan Yi, and he's just like, ha, fooled you. So, he pretty much said, still on the lines, is you think with your pretty face that you'll be able to charm me? I'm like, she came close because she had you blinking a couple times, but whatever. He pretty much was just like, since you handed me the key, I will not do anything to you. I'll let you live. But he says one of the coldest lines I've ever heard. He says, go back to your family, tell them to wash their necks and wait. Mm-hmm. I'm coming for them. I'm like, damn. Yikes, that is so cold-blooded.
So he's like, just as she was fearing, he's gonna destroy her fam, her whole clan. And so she gets expelled from the city, and they're in their carriage, her maids, and they're kind of figuring out, what are we gonna do, blah, 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 we're gonna die. And then they get ambushed,
quote unquote.
They get ambushed by cousin.
What's it? Luyan.
And this is the guy that she was set up and betrothed to, but she was like, no, I need to go and marry.
There's other things at stake, and don't mind my language, but he's a weak ass.
He is a weak ass.
And they are technically, even though is a cousin, we don't know by ways he's a cousin, but he is from Lingya, which is I guess the Western Territory that is west of Pan Yi. What I love about my girl is that they weren't anticipating this ambush, of course. They weren't expecting to be rescued by him at all. And so when she realized what's going on, she's up there formulating a plan. So she gets down the stairs, and he looks like he was about to go and embrace her, and she's like, psych, and she hugs her mate instead. It was hilarious.
She said, swerve.
It's like, no sir, you're not gonna touch me.
It was funny.
And so she's up there faking tears, and she's crying into her mate's shoulder, and she's up there licking her fingers and having traces of tears coming down, so it feels like she's crying, because she's telling him all what had happened. It's I just got kicked out of the city by Wei Xiao, and I'm on my way back home. He's just well, you can go on to Pan Yi. And she's well, I don't have the seal anymore. He has it. And so Lu Yan was just you are the key to the city. We can get in with you. And so they managed to get into Pan Yi, and then that news travels back to Wei Xiao.
And Wei Xiao, because again, he's always calculating and knows that she's calculating, and it's these mofos planned this, they ran off together, and now they're plotting. Mm-hmm. We gotta go to Pan Yi and get her. We gotta go to Pan Yi, number one. We're gonna take it. We're not wasting time.
Yes.
I'm going there, we're busting some skulls, and I want her either dead or alive.
Well, even before that, he was already gonna march on Pan Yi the next day.
Exactly.
And so then he gets news that, Leon had made it to Pan Yi, has gotten inside, and so he's well, how do you get inside when essentially I have the seal? And it's well, he got in with Man Man. And so he's just like you had said,
I should have killed her before.
This was planned all along. Mm-hmm. And trying to usurp my power in Pan Yi, when I was trying to get a foothold there. And so he's F it, let everybody know. Kill her to boost morale.
Exactly.
And so it's just alright, they're going full-fledged. And it seems like he was probably saying he was going to wait tomorrow. From what the emotion he was elicit when he heard her being together with her previous betrothed, once he heard that news, it seems like he was like, we're marching now. Like, let's go. And so, once they get to Panyi, and she's settled there, and Leon and his of an uncle, they're still like calculating stuff behind the scenes.
Exactly.
And the uncle is also like kind of scolding his nephew, where he's just like, I don't know why you were up there pretty much chasing this girl's skirts for. Like, it doesn't make any sense. I hope you won't let your feelings or regard for her get in the way of our overall goal. So they already have something else in mind.
Remember, you have a priority. And he's like, oh no, I understand. And we figure out what exactly that is in this episode.
Yes.
And why exactly, or I guess how Manman kind of plays into all this.
Yes.
And
beautifully, by the way.
Ooh, it just makes me mad.
It does. Because defending yourself, defending your people is one thing, but this dude's going to take it to a whole other step. So, there was like a cart full of grain, or at least stuff that was dressed up as grain. And then from the magistrate of Panyi, when Maman had stepped closer to the cart, she realized, like, oh, that smells strongly of sulfur. And so the magistrate was just like, I don't know what he's trying to use it for. And he also kind of drops knowledge that, like, it seemed like he's up to some shady stuff, because he wouldn't even let me see you when I came to visit with you earlier that morning.
Yeah, and when they visited, because they had not even settled in good, they had that betrothal ceremony again, where he's presenting all these gifts, and it's this laundry list of all these different things, and they don't find the links. What do they have? Another ferret. And it's just like,
And even still, it's just like, the uncle is still just like, I don't even know why you're presenting this to her again anyway. Especially since, like, in the hindsight of it, she swerved around the first betrothal gifts that you gave her and married someone from the Way state. Like, what in the like, she's not worthy of that.
Exactly.
But, which I'm just like, okay, but everyone has heard about her, and often by default, who are you? Like, who really are you?
And he already had looked down on the family anyway. Like, he already had these, like, they're, trash, mentality. And that was one of the reasons why she did not want to marry Luan in the first place, because of that. It's like...
And he's a weak ass.
He's a weak ass. And, unfortunately, he's listening too much to his uncle and not thinking for himself. He doesn't even read the fact that she's not excited to see him when he, quote-unquote, rescues her. And I say that because his reason for rescuing her is not as honorable as you would think it is. We find that out, the reason why, later on.
Yeah.
But
and like, how can you call someone weak that still holds literally all the cards? Like, again, he would not have gotten into Panyi if it wasn't for her.
Exactly.
Her having the seal or not, she was the key, period, to everything. He had to marry her in order to unlock more power. So him looking down on her is really misguided and very high-handed to begin with, because like, you have no authority to be that high and mighty. If anyone who should be high and mighty, it's her.
All right. And what was interesting, Pyong Yi is like the next like big target, and in his mind, he feels like if he gets control of Pyong Yi, he has control of everything.
That's
and
essentially it.
You see as how Wei Xiao is already gunning for that. Like, it's a mixture of Pyong Yi, Man, and they're all kind of in this weird bubble together where everything fits. So it's like this concurrent thing of Wei Xiao being pissed off that girl lived, number one. Yes. I should have killed her. She went off to the very place I didn't want her to go to, and with some other dude.
Yeah.
Who laughs?
How dare she? I need to go and rectify that right now.
We're gonna kill her to boost morale. Mm-hmm. And so she finds out about the sulfur. She's like, something's not right. She's like, hey, can you take me to this, to the canal? And, what's his face? Lu Yang kind of accompanies her, and he's like, why did you want to come out here? This is a little bit weird place for people to go. And she's like, well, I just wanted to go visit a temple and clear out my thoughts. And they talk about the canal that was a partnership that was built between the Wei clan and the Chao clan, and how that was supposed to be a thing that they were, completing.
Which they did. It got completed, but after the war, I think Li Su had boarded it up.
Which is what caused the drought in Wei, and what kind of accelerated a lot of the events that lead up to present day.
Yes.
And she kind of mentioned the sulfur, thinking, oh, I know you're using sulfur for, you know, whatever. The wind is going this certain way.
Which is why she went to the temple to get
Exactly.
what the weather report is.
Yeah.
Because he was like, oh, for our wedding? She's like, no. Like,
bitch, you wish.
For weather, because she's like, if it's downwind, then, you know, yeah.
You can get, Wei Xiao's forces are probably going to be approaching. You can get them from this place right here. He's like, oh, no, that's not for that. It's for the canal. We're going to blow it up. And she's like, whoa. This canal leads to Shandu, like, and Shindu or whatever. And he's like, yeah, I know. And he's like, we're gonna, you know, flood all of Shindu, and then that will cause confusion, and we can attack the Wei people. And she's like, but what about the innocent people? You're gonna flood the whole city. They're recovering just now. Why are you gonna do that to innocents? He's like,
I don't give a care.
He's like, F them people. Like,
he pretty much said, like, it's their fault being born away.
Basically.
That's what it is.
Basically.
When a lot of people in Shindu, technically, yes, they are aways, but they're also people from beyond too. So
right, there are people from other territories that are refugees there, and he just made a whole bunch of random people citizens. So it's not just Wei people that he's flushing out; they're people from all over the whole land. And so she's talking to him, trying to get through to him, like, hey, do you not understand? You're making a huge mistake by doing this. Like, I understand you want to attack the Wei.
Or even she's like, you know what? If you're going to go after Wei Xiao, I understand him. Like, I get it.
Go after
him, but not the innocent people.
Exactly. And you could tell he's not listening to her. He's not paying attention. And during this whole scene, she's looking at him with sheer disgust. And up to this point, she's been really good at masking her emotions and kind of having a facade of sorts when she needs to. And she is not hiding the fact that she's disgusted with this man, because he's like, you know, making all these little plans. It's like, yeah, and I want to do this, and I want to conquer this territory. And it's very clear that he needs her to fulfill his plan. Yep. And so his whole reason for rescuing her is not for anything honorable, not because he cares about her or is worried or concerned.
I think it's still like possession. I think that's the emotion that he still has attached to her.
And especially because, you know, now that she was attached to Wei Xiao, he has a trump card, so to speak.
Yes.
To, you know,
an ace
to use. And she's trying to get through to him like, this is not okay. Your people are going to turn against you if you do this. This is not a good idea. And back in behind them, the uncle's, you know, blabbering away, talking shit. And
I can't stand this.
Why are you listening to her? She's just a dumb girl. She's trash, blah, blah, blah. We've had a really good discussion about Wei Xiao has his faults. Mm-hmm. He's impulsive and very calculating. But one thing that he's shown up until this point is that he does care about the good of people in general.
He does.
And, you know, even
except if you're a
well, yeah. For good reason.
You know, that little asterisk.
He's like, except for y'all.
Except for y'all. And Leon and Lee Soo. Like, all y'all can go and kick rocks and step on Legos and Christmas ornaments. Like, amen. So,
you know, and maybe his reasons for doing it are not all, like, completely altruistic, because obviously he wants to gain their respect and you know, love, so they'll follow him and whatnot. So it's not completely like, oh, we're gonna be great friends and buddies, but he cares about his people going hungry. He's caring about their defenses being built back up, having access to water. The marriage was part, I want to fulfill grandma's wishes so she'll shut up, but also my people need food. And Pyongyang has the things that I need to feed my people. So he, you know, with all his faults, he still cares about the good of people, and we're seeing Lu Yan being the opposite of that. And on top of that, Uncle, because they're discussing this whole plan of, hey, we can draw in Wei Xiao, and the uncle's like, yeah, we'll use the pride of our people. They have endless pride with our people. They're unstoppable, meaning that they're willing to sacrifice innocent civilians for this cause. Not a formal military, not their soldiers. They're like, oh no, we're going to let our people fight. And any good leader would have been like, no, we need to evacuate. We need to get the, civilians out of here.
Out and stuff.
The folks that want to fight, they can fight, but we need to protect our people, whatever. So we already get an idea that Luyan is an asshole.
Oh, absolutely.
He's
selfish.
And Man calls him out like, you just are using me for your own ego, for your own ends. You don't care about your people. You don't care about me. You're just trying to use me for your own gain. And she was already not feeling this dude at all. And the fact that he could not read that from the very beginning, especially even though it was funny where she's like trying to put the fake tears on.
Fake tears,
we were cracking up, but I'm like, bro, you are not.
Because it goes to show like he's only interested in himself and like his own cause, and so it doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter if she doesn't love him or like accept him now. It's one of those things. Well, I will make her, or down the line she eventually will like me or accept me,
or I'll bend her to my will. Right. It sounds like that.
I mean, that's essentially like, bring her to heel like he kind of did. So even with her disgust, they escort her back to her place, and all of her maids and her are pretty much bound and tied, like feet and their hands tied behind their backs, and the uncle's just like all swarmy and stuff like that, and they're saying how this is for their protection. Yeah, like being hogtied and stuff like that is really for someone's protection. Yeah. Whatever, bruh. Going back to Luyan's wonderful charismatic thing and caring about his people, we also see that on the front lines when the Wei State show up at the doorstep.
Yep.
And so it goes to show, like, even with him being on the battlements, it's almost like he's a pretender. Where Wei Xiao is up front, wanting to lead the attack. Even on the battlements in the front, him and his uncle, as they, I guess, like, as the Wei State returns fire with these big arrows, big arrows that like shoot 3 at a time out of that will like do massive damage. Like no shield
like
can hold that.
The size of a full rake,
yes.
Or like a shovel,
shovel or big ass javelin or something like that. But even with that, him and his uncle, are they on the battlements? They are, but they're like in the room behind everything while everyone else is getting pelted.
They're hiding. They're hiding.
This is people just built for wall of defense for them. That's it.
It's despicable. Like
it's gross. And it also shows like the differences between the two.
Mm-hmm.
Wei Xiao is on the battle lines in front, and you see him also like at times in the back with his advisor, calculating. But when they were on that front, that's where he was,
front and center, ready to fight. Like he's in the fray. And what's interesting, like they keep firing. I don't want to say decoys, but they were kind of putting on a front. Like
yes,
even their initial attack was putting on a front and trying to kind of lock the Weis into a battle, which they do engage. But one interesting thing we discover, and even the Weis figure out, they're using civilians.
Yes.
Regular people are out here fighting. And even though a lot of people have lost their lives, a lot of the Weis have lost men as well.
Also, because of that, Liu Yang and his uncle, because of them recruiting these civilians, of course, their numbers became greater.
Exactly.
So
it's like, we have the power of the people. And,
also the deaths of the people.
In most cases, most people would see, we have, we have rallying power, we can provide for our troops. No. Mm-hmm. The people are the troops.
Yes.
And so you're talking about heavy civilian casualties. And luckily, Man happens to sneak out. She is able to escape the ropes with a candle fire. Mm. And she's, talking to the maids as she's like trying to escape. It's like, I miscalculated. I misjudged this guy.
Yes.
Blah, blah, blah. And she sneaks out and she gets onto a boat and goes to the granary where she thinks that the sulfur and stuff is being kept, because she's figured out like the sulfur is not to take down Wei and all that. It's for causing massive damage in the canal. So she's trying to get to the granary so she can, get rid of it, do something with it before Luyan has a chance to blow up the canal and flood Shindu. So there's a lot happening.
Oh, yes, and I forgot about something. I think, like, the reason why a lot of these civilians were fighting on the Panyi side of it, of course, not only is it because it's their home, but also I believe, like clockwork, that Man went walking around and she was hearing rumors what people were saying about Wei Xiao, about like how he's like has 3 legs and 4 arms or something like that.
Yes.
practically that he's pretty much the devil. And if you heard someone like that was approaching, if you're brave enough, why wouldn't you want to defend your home against something like that? Of course, they don't know Lu Yan from like anything right now, or what he's really putting them up to in order for them not to survive. But Wei Xiao, it seems like he's the lesser of two evils. Right. And so, with that, I can understand where they would topple in line that way. But, also, the Weis get news about not only the civilians, but about the whole sulfur thing. They surmise that it seems like he is way crueler than Li Su was.
Because while they're on the battlefield, like, they happen to... The horses start acting up a little bit, and they're like, what's going on? Uh-huh. And they kick at the ground a little bit and kick up some yellow stuff, and it's sulfur. And they're like, what the hell is this for? Why would this be here?
Yes.
And that's when they figure out, like, oh my God, they're going to try and get us into the city and then light the whole thing on fire with us in it. So, they've caught on to the plan.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. And Maman, she gets into the granary, and it's so interesting watching her use her physics skills and all this stuff to get past guards and stuff. It's so funny. She figures out she's having to, there's like literally... like 100 vats of different stacks, and so she has to go through and figure out where it is. So she's stabbing and poking holes, and once she finds it, she starts lighting fires. Mm-hmm. And so at least that's enough to start distracting guards away so they can take care of the fire. And even the Weis are seeing from afar, they're like, oh, fires are starting, but in the city, what's going on?
So it's like, we need to go and investigate that. So and so that's what they do. So they start pushing back in to gain access to the sea, which they do. Mm-hmm. And luckily, Wei Xiao and his generals, they go to where Mama was staying, and her maids come out, especially Chow Tao comes out, and she's just like, you gotta go find my lady, you have to save her. Like, she went to go and light these fires, these vats, and they're just like, no, that doesn't seem right, because, he's still thinking, like, she was in cahoots with Leon, and Chow Tao was like, that's not even the case. Like, he kidnapped her and stuff, and the magistrate's also there. He's like,
that's true. I can attest to that.
Yes, I agree, because I'm like, I couldn't even come and see her this morning. And it's like, he was up there doing some shady stuff. And so, like, she let him know, like, hey, she was the one who went and lighted those fires. He's immediately just like, okay, now I need to find her, period.
Yeah.
Because I forgot, as soon as they get into the city, he does say that, I want her either dead or alive. So that's where that status is at. But I don't think all the guards heard it. So I think all of them are still just like, shoot on sight.
Right. And also, his generals have come in to, try to get Man. One thing that they don't really mention until they notice later, until one of the maids pointed out, all the betrothal gifts are around the perimeter from when he was there that morning trying to, hey girl, you want to marry me? I think we should get married. And the Ferret is there, and Wei Xiao's like, what is all this? What's going on?
Or especially like, what's that?
What is that? That is a ferret. They're supposed to catch a lynx, but, they didn't do it. And he's just like, crap, I think I really misjudged her, because why would there be this betrothal stuff here? I thought they were already together. I thought they were in cahoots.
Right.
Maybe I fucked up. And so now he's like, I gotta find her. I gotta go.
Yes. And plus it's like, I can do better. Like, okay. And so, what we also had seen, like, one of his generals had come into the scene. You were just, like, the quiet one who I also told him about, I forget, like, what he was trying to say. Like, because I think they were trying to find both of them, like Lu Yan and also Man. And so he kind of misdirected her. And so all throughout the fire escapades in the granary, Man was hitting in a vat of cold water, or of water, with the covering on top, so she was waiting the fire and the smoke out. I'm like, honestly, I don't think that will actually still work, but, because she wasn't fully submerged underwater. It was just, like, partially enough, but, suspend disbelief.
And it's interesting that she hid in an enclosed space to protect her,
with water. It's like, things just always come back into play. She gets out and she's about to run, but then she sees, I forget which way general.
It's the quiet one. Because something we picked up is he never really speaks. Like, one of the other generals that he gets, that everyone gets his name wrong, it's like,
Wei Liang.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not Wei Dang, I'm Wei Liang, and he's always, trying to get the quiet one to open his mouth and speak. He's like, I can't get nothing out of him, but like he started speaking a little bit more, and I'm like, oh no, something off. And so he sneaks off by himself into the granary, and guess who happens to pull herself out of that little pot?
At the same time.
And he has a bow and arrow ready. He's like, hey.
Well, because she's just like, oh, yeah, you're someone I know.
Yeah.
And so he's just like, 14 years ago, I lost my father and brothers because of the child. So he's like, pretty much like, the only good thing about a child is the dead one. Mm-hmm. And you're about to be one of them.
Right.
And so she starts running, and so she's taking off, and then that's where the episode ends.
Oh!
So
and that's when I was like, we need another episode.
Yeah, that's the thing with this. Like I said, these first few episodes will hook you in. That's like their, I guess like the beauty of it.
Yeah.
The prisoner of beauty of it. But, I mean, you're a prisoner of these episodes for a minute. But, yeah, that's practically, like, the whole scope of the episode. But it's very nice to see, like, even if you've been raised with somebody or you thought you were previously in love with someone, they can often be something you do not expect in the least.
Yeah, and it shows, like, how much people mask their true feelings until it benefits them.
Yes.
Because, one of the reasons why she did not want to marry Liu Yan was because she viewed him as weak. Like, number one, he listens to the influence of his uncle too much, and his uncle's self-serving and terrible and a piece of shit.
Yes.
And it's like, if you're that weak just to him, imagine with someone with real power like Wei Xiao,
right.
You would fall like, a stack of cards, basically.
Absolutely.
But, one thing that I forgot to talk about during that whole canal scene where they're talking is Manman is like giving tactical stuff like, oh yeah, if you get from southeast and the wind is picking up that direction, and Liu Yan kind of looks at her, but it's more of a, oh, that's not what we're doing it for. He doesn't clock the fact that she's fucking smart and she knows what she's talking about. He's like, well, actually, I'm going to do this and this is my plan. I'm like, that's a stupid fucking plan. Mm-hmm. And you can see it on her face, like, that is a stupid plan.
Yes.
It's such an interesting dynamic. Like, her mind is it works like 5 times sharper than his. I keep thinking about in terms of battle, like how terrible it would be, because if Liu Yan is in charge of a battle, he'd be too busy feeding on his own ego and his own power to really pay attention to like practical stuff. And she's just rattling off details, and I'm like, girl, you need to rein that in, because if he picks up on the fact that you're as smart, he's gonna do something to her.
I don't think so, because I think that he's so lost in his own self.
Yeah.
And that he really only sees her as decoration. Like, let's be honest.
I think he does not take her seriously.
Not at all.
But if he
it's like, oh, it's cute.
But if he was ever capable enough of actually reading her better and picking up on the fact that she's that smart, I'm like, I could see him seeing her as a threat to him.
I think the uncle will before he does.
Yeah, and I'm like, I could see that being a really bad turn. But I feel like Wei Xiao would be turned on by it, because it's like,
oh, absolutely. I mean, he already is.
Yeah, he would be distrustful of why she would know this stuff and be like, but I think in a way he's like,
well, he's already turned on about hearing about her being the one who escaped her bonds,
starting the
fire.
He's like, oh, that little sly fox. You know what? When I find her,
I mean,
I can't kill her right now, but when I find her, and I question her,
it's like when I get into that. That's what I really like about that, because I'm like, a lot of things are very complicated, and I'm glad that it's one of those things where it's just like, even for a common enemy, I don't want to destroy my enemy like that.
Right.
Because I'm like, I have like a lot more decency and compassion than he does.
And dignity. Like, even, because, even the short time they were around each other, Wei Xiao showed a lot more compassion and dignity than she ever anticipated, especially with all the rumors that were going around about him. And it's like, oh, he doesn't just slaughter random people. That's not who he is. Not without reason. Justification. It's so interesting, because I'm like, oh gosh, they would make a very strong power couple. Like, once they get rid of those like biases and those weird little hang-ups, like with her mind and his like strength, her resources and abilities and stuff, like, oh my god, they would be fucking unstoppable. Like,
Just you wait.
Oh, the show's so
Just
good. But I like seeing that contrast between the two men and how quickly on a dime.
Yes.
Oof, this is good.
And especially since, like, that's what a lot of times it is. It's like, yes, this Wei Xiao is her enemy, quote unquote. But at the same time, it's like, it's an understandable enemy.
Right.
Where it's kind of like crazy where, someone that you've known for years, that you were engaged to or about to be betrothed to, is someone you completely did not anticipate. And so it almost like makes you wonder, like, okay, so when he came, I think he came and lived with her family or something like that for like years and stuff. And so it makes you wonder, I'm like, was all of that also a facade? Was that your true self, or did you flip? Or it's like, it's hard to
Or did you let
imagine.
power go to your head?
Absolutely.
Once, especially now that, grandfather is kind of on his way out. Is he like the next in line in terms of power? And we didn't talk about the siblings too.
Yes.
Or was it her brother?
I believe it might be Mon's brother, because Lady of the House that's there is the aunt, and I think that aunt is actually the mother of Fan.
Yeah.
And so, or Fan. He apparently is like very young, and apparently he wants to like undergo his studies, and so he can pretty much inherit to become the next Lord of Yan.
Mm-hmm.
And he just feels so pitiful that he wasn't able to protect either of his sisters, because Afen has already left with and eloped. To them, that's unfilial. They don't know where she is. And of course, now we have like this whole incident with what happened with Wei Xiao, because word has gotten back to the Chow clan about what happened, her giving up the seal and him kicking her out. And so they're just like, what are we going to do? Because I'm like, once he gets into that, that's going to be a wrap for us. It's going to be the end of it. Yeah. So now it's going to be the anticipation of like how soon word can get to the family, to where it's just like, no, I'm fine, I'm good, we're back on good terms, smoothing everything over to where it's like, y'all don't have to worry. I'm just hoping, like, eventually, like, you don't see, like, in future episodes that the brother, like, her younger brother might be acting impulsively at all. I hope not. And
he's just like, I just feel so useless. I'm like, oh my God, you're a baby. Like, you're a literal baby.
Uh-huh.
And then there is a scene where we catch up with Fan Fan and her stable boy. They stop for a little bit, and she's sad. Even though they ran off together, Mon did this for her own happiness, so that way, at least one of them can live freely. Fan Fan has been crying, and he's like, I'm tired of seeing you, crying. Like, it's hurting me. I will take you back if you need to, or I can take you somewhere else. Let me know. I'm in your corner. Whatever you want, I will do it. Mm-hmm. I just want to see a smile on your face once again. He finds out that Man was expelled from Shindu and is now on her way to Pyongyang or whatever.
And she was with Leon.
Yeah, and so she's like, maybe I'll go to I'll go to Pyongyang. And so now, like, sister's on her way to the city. She hasn't arrived yet, because we were asking, like, I wonder how Fan Fan's doing, and lo and behold,
there she is.
It's a very quick scene, but it shows like how much I keep forgetting his name, Biju, but it just shows how much like he's devoted to her happiness. And she's like, I miss my sister, I miss my mother, but I definitely miss my sister and the way things ended. And he's like, I want to see a smile on your face. I will take you to your sister. We can meet up there. And that seems to give her a little bit of a boost. Of course, she's not aware of the danger that she's embroiled in at the moment, but
she's still worried, especially with her being expelled from Shindu, and of course, like, that also bodes well for the Chow clan. And so it's like only a matter of time. It's just like, what's going to happen next? So it's just like, if something's going to happen, I'll kind of want to be near my family, right, in case it does. So I guess with that being said, though, what is your prediction for episode 4?
Oh, okay. So I think this is going to be interesting. I think Wei Xiao is going to, number one, find Man, and he's going to be struggling a little bit with figuring out the truth from her about why she started the fires and why she tried to keep Luan from doing, like, blowing up the canal and all that other stuff. I think there's going to be a struggle. Y'all did not plan this. It just happened. He ambushed. He rescued us. But I did not know that this was his whole entire plan. And so I think there's going to be that, dealing with the uncle and Luan. I think because they fled the city. That's another thing. They fled the city, and the Wei clan has opened the gates. They're in the city now. And so Wei Xiao's trying to find Man Man and stuff like that. So finding out that Jackass basically fled and left his people to die, that already puts another strike against him. So I'm interested to see how that all...
Well, also because, like, remember in this episode, too, because the uncle was just like, we need a retreat.
Right.
And Louis Yan was just like, I need to find Man Man. So he's still obsessed with her.
Right.
So it's going to be a battle of who can possibly find her first. We already know Wei has.
Yeah.
But which of the men are going to find her first? Is it going to be Wei Xiao or is it going to be Lu Yan? See what happens beyond that. So, yeah, I believe that's it for episode 3. So, I guess, are you ready for episode 4?
Yes, let's do it. Episode 4.
We're going to go on episode 4 and let you know more about our thoughts.